I think I have cried more in the past year than in my entire life previously. I watched my husband get sicker and sicker, saw him lose his autonomy, his ability to think clearly and communicate, and eventually his will to live. And every stage of him losing himself was also a step towards my losing him. Once he was gone, all the potential life paths I'd plotted out disappeared with him. Weekend afternoons together at Disneyland, gone. Getting a VW bus and road tripping across the West together, that is no longer going to happen. The Christmas cruise on the Rhine that we'd been talking about for years just evaporated. I was left to grieve and forge new paths in a city that had really only been my home because he was there. I've been living a life unmoored after having been linked to his for more than half of my existence. I'm still deep in grief, but I'm determined to come out the other side. 2 weeks ago, I walked away from our life in Los Angeles, temporarily. Tomorrow, I start a test run of a new lifestyle. I drove 1,000 miles across the country, just me and the cat, to Denver. You might be wondering, why? This is why I left Los Angeles, and why I may not make my home in just one place ever again. I guess I wanted to prove to myself that I could still do big things without him. I'm a little anxious, and I'm going to leave home for a month, and what I thought was going to be a little adventure, a little test adventure, is feeling more like a big, medium to large size adventure right now. Like driving from LA to Denver in my electric car. So I plotted a route that hopefully wouldn't leave me stranded with no power in the desert. I packed up the cat, a suitcase of clothes, and a suitcase of art supplies, and headed out on the road.
This is a good day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife.
I am stopped momentarily at a rest stop in the Mojave Desert. Successfully made my first rest stop, or my first charging stop with the car. That was in Barstow, California, in a Walmart parking lot. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. There was nobody in line. My car got charged up for the trip through the desert, and my next stop is Las Vegas.
There's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live.
I will never, ever say that losing my husband was a blessing in disguise. That just feels like it cheapens his life and the senseless tragedy of his death. But I don't think it's wrong to say that his death created new opportunities in my life. It had to. For every future that died with him, a new one without him has sprung into existence. There are ways in which I was lucky. We had life insurance and savings, so when Kevin died, I wasn't immediately forced to move or find a new way to support myself. I had the gift of time and space, and the opportunity of time and space. For the first 6 months, I needed the gift. I had no energy for much of anything beyond grieving and recovering from the long, draining months of caretaking. Honestly, there are still times when those feelings overwhelm all of the others. But more recently, I've noticed a ping of desire. I went to New York City for a week, and that part of me that craves experience, expansiveness, excitement, it started to stir. I felt just enough more alive that I began to see the opportunity. If watching someone you love die too soon does anything, it makes you realize that life's opportunities are limited in ways we can't predict and would never expect. Opportunities are not to be squandered.
Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live.
Now this is the view that I was hoping to see this morning.
This morning has so clear a light as any to see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face,
I didn't choose Denver just by throwing a dart at the map. Though I've never lived in the city, I did live in northern Colorado for many years, and I have a wide network of friends and family in the greater Denver area. It felt like a safe place to begin stepping into a new phase of my life. A phase where I have no choice but to place my trust in people beyond my nuclear family, and where I embrace both my vulnerability as a new widow and my power as a woman of experience. This trip to Denver isn't exactly a retreat. It isn't exactly a vacation, and it isn't exactly a continuation of my regular life in a new place. What my heart needed was something between all of those. I left LA to put space between myself and my everyday responsibilities. I wanted to be away from the weight of my stuff, of all the things in my home, from the traffic and the noise, from my weekly routines, and also to some extent from the constant reminders of my life before, because everything right now is before and after. In that sense, the trip to Denver is a retreat. There's no pressure here to do the sort of life building I feel compelled to do in Los Angeles. I'm living a minimalist existence in an Airbnb. There are many days of morning yoga and leisurely walks through the city and hours spent writing alone in cafes. The fact that I've been away from my family and friends here for so long, however, does lend a sort of vacation air to the time I have here. We have 5 years of socializing to catch up on, and there are so many things I never got a chance to do when I lived nearby. So there are dinners out and shopping days and museum visits, and I regret none of that time spent reconnecting. I'm still writing and filming and editing while I'm here, continuing those parts of my everyday life well away from home makes my time here in Denver and potentially elsewhere sort of a trial run for a new life. What would it be like to live and work here? How would it feel? Is this what's next for me? My life isn't taking the path I expected or the path I wanted, but it never does it? Moving forward and stepping outside my comfort zone is helping me regain my sense of self. It's allowing me to see the opportunities in the midst of all the pain, and doing it in this particular place was the perfect balance for me of challenge and rest. I know that there will be other adventures in my future, and when the time comes, I'll be ready for them. For now, the task is to thoroughly experience this one. I'd love to hear about the opportunities, adventures, and heart tugs you've encountered in your life. So let's chat in the comments. And until next time, I'm wishing you love and joy and all those good things. And I can't wait to talk to you again.